I think it's important for us and for our audience to go and do this habit inventory. Make a list of the habits that we have, and then put a plus beside them if they're working for us, put a minus beside them if they're working against us, and see what we can learn from that as we apply it to the achieving of our goals.
Absolutely. Well, Frankie, we talked about a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
Uh, why don't you why don't you bring us home? Like give us a summary of where we're at from what we talked about.
So, again, this was inspired by, our conversation about New Year resolutions, and it brought to mind, those two authors, Charles Duhigg and James Clear, and their books around habits, because when we're trying to set our resolutions, we're either trying to create a new habit or we're trying to break a bad habit or to break an existing habit. So we wanted to talk about what habits are. Habits are ways that our brain creates shortcuts to help us solve problems more efficiently, find solutions to situations. If this, then do this. Um, and those habits, whether they work for us or against us, really have a huge impact on the outcomes that we see when we set goals. So understanding how our habits are formed, how they work, is a great first step for us understanding the playing field that we're operating on when we're trying to achieve our objectives for our New Year resolutions or for our goals, generally speaking. And the first step, like we mentioned, that we want our audience to take is to do a habit inventory. Write down all the habits that you have. You should enlist the help of an accountability partner, because some of our habits may be invisible to us. So having an accountability partner can help us see those, and then put a plus beside it if it's working for you, put a minus beside it if it's working against you. And best believe we've got a lot more to talk about in the realm of habits. So I think we'll have some follow-up episodes where we dig a little bit deeper into the specifics of, how these pieces of the habit loop work together and how we can manipulate those to really harness the power of habits in our lives.
Yeah, that's an interesting point too, is how they loop because, when you talk about repetition, I mean you're just doing the same things, over and over and over and over and over again. Um, it is a loop, whether it's positive or negative, it is a loop. And so it will be interesting to dig a little deeper into that as we move through the year and see how many wins we can have with our goals and resolutions. And I invite our audience to, put a note in the comments about the habits that you are working on, the habits that you would like to either improve or get rid of, what your resolutions are. Drop us some notes in the comments. I also want to say that this podcast, you hear Frankie and I talking about different things like habits, but we're not professional therapists or anything like that. So the thoughts that come forward in this podcast are thoughts that come from things that we've learned, things that we've read, our experiences in life. And so we're on this journey with you as mere mortals on this planet. Uh, but it's a journey, and the key part, as Frankie mentioned earlier, is showing up. You got to show up if you want to make it to the other side. You got to show up. So um, I invite you to take the challenge, make your list of habits as Frankie outlined, and let's see where we can end up at the end of the year.